Good morning and welcome to City Pulse. My name is Pamela Payne and I'm here with Mayor Ron Arnold and the Economic Development Director Bill Savage. Thank you for talking with us.
Good morning.
Pam, good to be with you again.
Can you please tell us the status on Warner Bodies moving into Elwood?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Sure. The Warner Bodies project is moving on very well. Very well. It's moving along. We started out with the agreement to purchase on March 13th and signed that. And since then, they've been in and worked on it a little bit. But then last week on May 6th, we got the tax abatements passed that needed to be passed. And since then, they've been in there working full steam ahead on preparing the property. They're planning to invest over $1 million in the property, and also then the machinery is going to be around $4 million. So they're looking at a $5 million initial investment to try to get in there by January 2014 and get started, and there plans to be more investment after that. So the plans to relocate the 50 people from Noblesville. They're coming from Noblesville, Hamilton County, and then after that plans to hire 150 more. They're all on track.
Now is that the 150 additional people, is that for just the factory or is that for the office as well?
It's office as well. They estimated most of it for factory, but there's, I think, 5 administrative positions, new positions.
Now, I heard something about Safe Routes for School project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, those are NDOT projects that with the Madison County Council of Governments help prepare for us, and they involve building new sidewalks around the schools, and basically it'd be North J and North 19th Street. We had an initial phase 1 project that was $239,000 project. Then we had phase 2 we applied for, and we got phase 2. Well, we had already had phase 1 lined up to start, but then we talked to NDOT, and the engineers, consultants, decided it'd be better to combine both projects together and then do them as one. So we backtracked, and now we're working on both projects together, and the total is like about $435,000, and we're going to try to do as much new sidewalk, safety, crosswalks, and all that kind of stuff up around the schools and up and down 19th Street all the way to Main Street. And so we had to go back, and when we combined the projects, we went back and had to do a request for proposal, a new one, and we just received the results of that, and we're getting ready to put together the committee. We have a committee that will select the consultant now, and we'll be moving forward. So that project will be next year.
I think something to add to what Bill's saying about combining of those two phases, Pam. By combining them, you're saving consulting fees, engineering fees, administrative costs, so that more dollars go into sidewalks and safe crossing, safe intersections. So it meant that we had to step back a little bit and delay the first phase, but when this is all done next year, correct?
It was worth it for the environmental. We saved $15,000 right there, because we could just do one environmental instead of 2, and that $15,000 go into sidewalks.
So this phase 1 and 2 is on schedule for next year, correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
Instead of seeing part of that this year and part of it next year, all of this will happen next year, and we'll get to do a little more concrete, a little more work than we would have done had these been separated. So
Now is that going to be during the summertime, or is it going to be while the kids are in session?
That's what we want to target. Now we got to select a consultant, and so we missed this construction. We targeted this summer for the first phase, but by combining both, we should be next summer.
Let's say our plan is to do it during the summertime.
That's the plan. That is the plan.
When you're dealing with the Indiana Department of Transportation and engineers and all kinds of moving parts, sometimes things are delayed outside of our control, but our plan is summertime.
Yep.
Now, I've driven down 37 and seen Little Caesars set up here in Elwood. Is there any expectations for any more companies to open here in town?
We have high expectations.
Very
many more new companies that open in Elwood. So.
That's a very good answer.
But I won't steal Bill's thunder. He's been working really hard to get folks looking at Elwood and coming in.
Well, the one that we know for sure is O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, where the Love's Flowers shop used to be on State Road 28. They've purchased the property. They own the property, and we're getting ready to do annexation on that property. They're a voluntary annexation. They want to be in the city limits, and so it's in the works. Then relocation. It's not new, but El Chile Poblano relocated from the Elwood Plaza out to the Cardinal Plaza, or where Marsh's is at, and it reopened just last Tuesday. And like Ron said, we have a lot of expectations. The excitement that was created by Warner Bodies and just general things. We've had I don't want to mention any names, but we've had a major development company looking at Elwood for the last year at the State Road 2837 53-acre site that's right there catty corner from McDonald's. They came in last week. Now they're working on their due diligence after locating the site, and they're looking at everything now. The utilities, they've already met with NDOT to look at ingress and egress. They need to work with Vector, and they're doing everything what they call their due diligence, and that will be what they're talking about is a 25-acre mixed-use retail food and beverage development that would be approximately half of that site. That's very exciting.
Yes.
And not to mention, I don't want to mention any names yet because it's in the works, but there will be a big announcement when we're ready for that. So.
I'll be waiting to hear for that one.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. Things are really starting to happen along that corridor, and as Bill mentioned, the attention that we've gotten from the Warner Body relocation and expansion, and has really helped accelerate some of those plans. So we're excited. That area is already part of the city limit boundaries, so that will be part of our city development.
That was annexed years ago when it was bare ground, and there'll be some rezoning on the property and that kind of thing. We've had other. We've talked about motels in the past. We've had a motel company meet with us and interested in Elwood. They specialize in communities the size of Elwood, but they're targeting the lot. They're going to have to put together the lots, but I think it'd be 2 lots. But they wanted to build it right next to the McDonald's, and so we do have a motel concern looking at Elwood right now and going through their due diligence. They've met with us and talked to us. Basically, they wanted to make sure the city was in favor of a project like that. And, of course, Ron was beaming.
We are pro-growth. And anyone who lives here knows we need lodging. Mm-hmm. With Red Gold's corporate headquarters, with Elsa Corporation growing, with Warner Bodies in town, we already had a need for lodging before all this started. So we're highly anticipating that some lodging is built again out on that corridor. That will become even a more major gateway into Elwood as things begin to happen on 37 and 28. 28 has already increased traffic by a very high percentage, and not only truck but other traffic as well. So lots going on, all good stuff. So.
Now, I recently learned that Subaru was expanding. Will this have any effect on Elsa here in Elwood?
Well, Bill and I would like to make major announcements every week. I think we have something we could probably leak, and we always try to give it to ElwoodIndiana.org first. But there are some folks at Elsa who would, we're not very far from them, so they would drive over here pretty quickly if we made any announcement today. I think, Bill, we can say comfortably that the short answer to that is yes. It will have a major positive impact on the operation of Elsa. Subaru is expanding by over 800 jobs in Lafayette at their plant, and increasing capacity and lines. So as a major supplier to Subaru, one could logically conclude that there will be, my trip to Japan was primarily built around the Sakamotos, and visiting their plant in Japan and getting to know them better, and that was a discussion then. And they're just trying to make sure that everything is all, as we say, all their ducks are lined up. But we're anticipating a major positive announcement for also as well. So the number of employees being added along that corridor is starting to look pretty attractive for developers and folks who are wanting to invest in real estate and build retail and food and lodging and those kinds of things.
I truly believe that we could promote State Road 28 as an industrial development corridor. It's obvious it's coming to fruition right now with everything that's happening. But there's another one that we can piggyback on. It's the Chrysler expansion. It's at State Road 31 and State Road 28. 850 jobs there approximately. We've recently, well, first off, I know there's Mosey Manufacturing in Elwood. They're a supplier to Chrysler for the transmission. They make these little bullet parts that the CNC machines kick out, and it's for the transmissions in Chrysler. They have, since the downturn in the industry and then Chrysler's built itself back up to do what they're doing now, they're up to 88 employees right now at Mosey Manufacturing, which is great. I mean,
that's one we haven't talked about.
That's one. That's
Mosey in the former Airfoil Textron or Excello building, they've been quietly adding jobs over the last year. They're up, as Bill mentioned, to 88 jobs and growing. The other component to that is as you sort of bookend from 37 to in Tipton, where the Chrysler facility is going to go, you're adding well over 1,000 new jobs within a 10-12 mile area. We are already getting inquiries on housing, and people are beginning to look at. There was an announcement last week about the Cattails housing development being sold to a partnership out of Carmel. And I really believed that was the biggest indicator that we received sort of internally, that all the things we've been working on are doing exactly what we had hoped and intended them to do. For many years, we've been trying to figure out from Elwood how we get other folks into Elwood. That has shifted now. We have folks from other places figuring out how they move those folks into Elwood. It's much better that way. And so that's been sold, and I'm anticipating some housing starts in that development. That's all in the city limits as well, so that's going to be growth for our city, new residents.
I'm glad you mentioned the Cattails, the new purchase for the Cattail owners there. We love to talk about this, Ron and I. They are Hamilton County people, and they're investing in Elwood, Madison County.
Yes.
And Water Body's the same way. They're relocating from Noblesville to Elwood, and moving right up the highway to State Road 37. It's just, I think Elwood's on the verge of really breaking open and really having some big things happen, which there are some big things happening, but I think it's just going to keep going. Elwood, I know Ron, his goal, my goal has always been, after everything I've done, city council and everything, for Elwood to be the best city in Indiana, best small city in Indiana to live in, and it can be that. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yes, we are.
For many, it already is.
Yeah, for many it already is.
And it's a great community, and we don't want to be a big city. We want to stay a small community. We want to be a solid community with ample employment and opportunity and a solid tax base for our schools and our library and all the things that we have in our community. So we're excited. We see that turning around, and when that Cattails development was sold, again, I believe that was a great indicator that folks are taking note of what's happening here, the jobs that we're bringing, the things that we're doing, and our low cost of operating business and the value of our real estate. The other component to that is we can't forget that the properties that we're taking over with the Redevelopment Commission, the abandoned housing, the blighted housing, and properties that need to either be rehabbed or demoed. By reducing our housing inventory, Pam, we're increasing the opportunities for new homes to be built at Cattails and then the development north of the high school, which is Willow Walk, thank you, which is a beautiful development as well. The vocational trades class just completed a new home there. It's gorgeous. But as you reduce bad inventory, you replace it with good inventory. And so it helps everyone's value of their homes to increase, which is great for everyone, the city, the schools, the homeowner. So by taking those out of the housing inventory, simple supply and demand economics, what you have less of costs more. And so folks who live in Hamilton County can come to Elwood and pay a fraction of the cost for either a new home or an existing home and have a great place to live. Kids go to school, work, play, all the above. So we're very excited. Continues to go as we had only dreamed that maybe it could if we kept at it.
I want to add on to the redevelopment commission. This is the most exciting and the impetus to all what we've been doing here lately, really. The creation of the redevelopment commission is something that we're a little behind on, but we got it done very quickly last year and established it last year in March, but that's what's allowed us to do a lot of the things. We were able to take possession of the Plastic property that way and then market it that way, and then now we've got Warner Bodies moving in there. I wanted to, and Ron mentioned the housing. We got some housing houses from the commissioners tax sale that we have available through the redevelopment commission. We will as soon as we go through the process. But the next big step for the redevelopment commission will be the state plating property.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up.
And the state plating property, I just found out yesterday, does not have a major Superfund cleanup lien on it. It has no lien that we had to, we were told, somebody said that they had over $1 million lien on the property from when the EPA came in and cleaned up. They did the Superfund cleanup on all surface, everything they could see. So we have no lien on the property from EPA, and we have, basically we're ready to move forward with that. We can take possession of that property. There's already testing done that's being paid for by historic insurance. AIG insurance is paying for its underground testing that's been going on for 2-3 years. So when the results of that come in, we'll see what it is. But with the redevelopment commission being able to take possession of the property, then if there is any problems based on the testing ongoing, we'll be eligible for brownfield grants. The redevelopment commission is a quasi-governmental agency established by the city of Elwood, by the city council actually established it with the economic plan that we had written up to establish it. We're eligible for the brownfield grants and everything. It's a big deal. So state plating is the next big project.
It is, and thanks for bringing that up. I know folks are probably wondering what's going to happen there. What are we going to do? And it's a lot of acreage. It's positioned beautifully for development, industrial and commercial development. So there's lots of ideas and ways, directions we can go with that. And so again, we look forward to acquiring ownership of that property. And let me explain something very clearly. We are not interested in being landowners for extended periods of time. We want to move these properties to homeowners, landowners, business owners. We just want to be that conduit and to move these along. Where an individual or a private company could not come in and take on certain liabilities, we can do that for them, and we can present them with a clear deed to it, so that they can come in, occupy it, grow it, rehab it, improve it, conduct a business on it. That's what we need to do. It's what we're doing, and so that area, I'm partial to that area. I live on the northwest side of town, so I'm anxious to see that area take off, and we have every anticipation that it's going to. And that is one of the properties that we acquired through the commissioners in this package. If you want to know the properties that we acquired, you can get a packet of those properties from Bill in his office, in the building planning office, or my office, the mayor's office. We even have those in a PDF version. Isn't that correct, Bill?
Yes,
I think you told me yesterday that
yes.
you've got those where we can email those. So you
Yes.
if you don't even want to come in, if you're watching us, I know you can accept a PDF on your email. So let us know. We'll get those to you. If you are interested, how do I get one of these houses? Maybe is the lot next to me in this package. Let us get you a list of the properties, look them over. We'll help you through what the process is going to be.
Yep.
We want folks owning these properties. We have no desire to be landlords, so we anticipate very quick turnover on many of these 50 properties. So, but just let us know. We'll get you a packet.
I've sent out a couple already by email, just a PDF file. It's got the whole list of the properties that we acquired.
If we are successful, and I believe there's no reason not to be, if we're able to move these 50 properties quickly, we're going to go back to the commissioners again, and we're going to ask for the next round of properties until the nearly 400 properties are addressed. So the first 50 was step one, so we're anxious to get those turned over, move on.
Now, not to adjust the subject by any means, but the SBA has been in town helping with flood victims. First off, can you tell me what the SBA is and what they're doing?
Yes. The SBA is the Small Business Administration. It is an agency of the federal government. And what the SBA is able to do is they are able to loan individuals and business owners small, low interest loans. I think the individual limit is up to $2 million. I'm not sure, Bill, if you know the business amount.
No,
It's several million. Depending on
you're talking about the maximum.
the maximums.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to borrow $1 million, but I think you're able to. And I maybe, Mr. Howell's probably provided me with all that information here in front of me. There are, let's see, it doesn't give the limits on what they're able to do, but I know the individual limits are up to $2 million. They are low interest loans, and they are in town. Please know we have worked tirelessly on behalf of our residents to bring these agencies to Elwood. We have been told time and again that they're not going to come here, that our people have to go somewhere else, to Anderson, to Tipton, to Marion, to Kokomo, to somewhere else. And we have demanded that folks come here so that our folks have a place to go here locally. Bill has done a great job keeping the old utility office on the north end of town, on North Anderson Street, available. He's had it rented several times over the last couple of years. And when they asked for office space, it was ready to go. He had it ready, and so that's where they're set up. You can let me just read the hours. This will go through next Wednesday, May 22nd. Monday through Friday, they are open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on this Saturday, May 18th. And again, they'll close on Wednesday, May 22nd. It's imperative that we had 120 residents affected, that we had an assessment done on. We got them listed in the flood damage assessment. It's imperative that you come apply. Even if you're turned down, if you have not applied for an SBA loan, then that stops the process for you. And so other grants, other opportunities that would be available to those that are turned down in this process, they won't be eligible for. So it's imperative that if you've been affected, if you're on that list of 120, or a friend or a family member, someone you know is on that list, that we get them with the SBA folks and we get that application made. That's why it was so important to bring them here to Elwood, so that everyone had that opportunity, Pam, to get in there and get that filed. There are going to be some state funds available. There are grants up to $5,000 per home or business. But again, those kinds of things you're not eligible for if you haven't first applied for an SBA loan. So
that's the most important thing for people to know. They don't want to get discouraged and think they're not eligible. They need to go apply, and if they get turned down, then they become eligible for the other.
Yes. And so again, the maddening part of dealing with the government is there are lots of processes. And so what we have and continue to work very diligently on are helping you through those processes. They're just as maddening for myself and for Bill and everyone at the city involved as they are a homeowner or a business owner affected. But our voices are being heard. The folks are coming here.
I visited the office. I visited the office Wednesday after they set up on Tuesday and asked them how everything was going. They were very happy with the setup out there. It's the old utility office at 1139 North Anderson Street. There were Elwood citizens there at the time being served, but everything was going very well.
If I could just expand on this, if we can talk about the flood for just a minute since we're on this, Pam. Here's what I want everyone to know. It's a long process. But at the end of this process, if you just stay with us, work through every process, we are going to be better for what we've gone through. I'm determined. I know that for a fact. We are working on a long-term recovery plan and putting a team together to come in and help folks who have been affected and to help our community deal with this flood issue. And so I've told some folks it's a process much like making sausage, Pam. You don't want to watch sausage being made because you would probably never eat it again. But at the end of it, when you're sitting down for breakfast and the sausage is served up, cooked, and nothing smells better or tastes better than some fresh sausage. So you just don't want to know how it's made. This government process is much like that. It's very painful. It's very frustrating. It's at times demoralizing because you apply for an SBA loan, you're turned down. You think, yeah, okay, now what do I do? I need help. Keep in mind, we're grinding this out. The end of the process, we're not going to stop until it's great tasting sausage and we've got folks.
I love Ron's analogy. And what he's saying is very true. Ron has been experienced with government agencies and what the process is. I am too. I've worked for the state 2 different times, different things. But for the regular individual, the citizen that's been affected by this flood, that's really hard on them. That's what Ron's trying to press. It's very frustrating for us, but we've been through it. We've been through it before. We know the process. We know you got to stay with it. Perseverance is the most important attribute, and just keep on and on and on, and you get things done. But citizens, they need to know that. That's what Ron's trying to press.
So basically, if one door closes, there's many more that are going to open because of that door closing.
Pam, we've created a few doors in this process already. So sometimes there's an old saying: if one door closes, maybe you got to open a window. I mean, sometimes they're not traditional. You don't even know where the next door is going to be, and sometimes it's creating one, pounding on the brick hard enough that you loosen them up and create a passageway from one to the next. I hope everyone has seen the effort that we've made in this last month following the flood, and know that if there's one thing we know how to do, and that is to persevere. We're going to persevere. It's a great word, great statement. We're not going to go away. We're going to keep demanding to be heard. We're going to keep demanding to have help, assistance in figuring this out. What I will tell you is the governor's faith-based initiative director part of the governor's cabinet, came to meet with us here at this table in this office. We are putting together a long-term recovery team and plan that will be a model used by other cities, other communities across this country. And I'm excited about that. Out of adversity comes relationships and opportunities that maybe you would have never had you not gone through that. We are going to we're going to insist that there's blessings from the curse of the waters, if you will. So we're going to stick with it. We are going to persevere. We're going to be better for it. We're going to be a closer community. We're going to work better together because that's what you have to do to have a successful community, a healthy community. So I remain excited. I have my moments where I'm as demoralized as anyone, but we know in the end we're going to be better off than we were. So hang in there with us. Apply for these SBA loans. Again, if you know someone, encourage them to. You're watching us on elwoodindiana.org. You can go online and do this. You don't even have to go to the office. You can go to, hope I can find it real quickly, it's disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. You can send them an email, communicate with them. You can go to the SBA secure website at disasterloan.sba.gov/ELA/. But I know you couldn't write that down as fast as I just said it. I know through Al's mastery, he's going to flash that on the screen somewhere, some way. I always put him on the spot, don't I? Every show.
That's okay.
Actually, I think it's already on the site.
He already has it on the site. See, he's already had it. But, it's a secure website. The email's there. You can communicate directly with these folks. There's 800 numbers. You don't have to go through us. We just want to help facilitate in any way that we can, that we get you to these folks and we help you through the process. And we've been blessed so far. We know we're going to continue to be, and we're going to be as pushy and as obstinate as we need to be with some agencies. But I continue to be impressed with the response from the state. We kept being told, Pam, you're not going to qualify for FEMA. You're not going to qualify for FEMA. There was even a newspaper article, we didn't qualify for FEMA, and I kept saying, well, the numbers haven't been added yet. The numbers haven't been added yet. Got the word yesterday, FEMA will be here next week. And so they're going through all of our assessments, and they're going to verify those. But we may very well in the end qualify for FEMA, which is another federal agency, Federal Emergency Management Agency, which will be another boon to keep in mind. It's not only residents and businesses that were affected, your city was affected. What they say, the public side of things. We lost equipment in the park. We lost the whole new flooring system to the community center. Overtime and personnel, many expenses, and our department heads have been working very diligently to have everything ready for FEMA when they come in next week. So we continue to push, and we're being heard, and folks are here. So please take advantage of this. It did not come without some battles and some effort, but they're here. Let's get through this process. There'll be another process, but we'll continue on with those. We'll help you through them. And again, in the end, we're going to have homes that are better than they were. We're going to end up with some folks, I think, relocated. Maybe get them out of that area where it continues to flood. So we're going to stick with them.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Is it over?
Always great to be with you.
Yeah, unless you want to keep talking.
There is one. There is a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
We finished up the $2.2 million neighborhood stabilization fund projects that we had. We built 10 houses, and the last house is to be closed on today.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing at the last minute crunch was we used approximately $195,000, say $200,000 for a demolition on the downtown building that was collapsing. The one wall on the west side was bowed out like this, and it was leaking several places. The roof was, it was in terrible condition. It was needed to be demolished, and we used federal funds to do that with. And I just wanted to let everybody know there is some seeding still to be done. They'll be planting grass here as soon as they can get back on there. But that's just a real positive thing. And another thing was the Warner Bodies, back on Warner Bodies, the training. They'll be working with the Career Center, the Heinz Career Center, and also with the welding program. There's a lot of welding that they do with their fabrication. But also, Ron and I started last year meeting with some very high level people with Ivy Tech and other officials and the Career Center about Elwood being a work-ready community. So there's a work keys program that the Career Center, and they specialize in. They're way ahead of the game. So there's things we got that are really positive in the city of Elwood. It's just so much. I've never been this excited. This is my 9th year. Well, I'm in my 10th year as economic development director, and I'm very excited about how things are going, and it's been very good working with Ron. It's great. Ron has the knowledge he brings from Washington D.C. and how cutting red tape, much like I learned when I worked for the state government over the years, and it's unbelievable. I think we can get a lot of stuff done. We are getting stuff done.
So you heard it here on ElwoodIndiana.org, but I really am a nice guy.
So that's
one thing, by the time you're watching this, you're going to be able to drive down Main Street in front of where that building came down, and you're not going to drive through gravel or hit a pothole. The state is finally, that's another one we've been, was a little wrangling, a little negotiating to get the state back in there to make that whole again. The pavement's going down as we record this, Pam, so very soon you're going to be able to drive down our Main Street again and not drop into to a pothole or drive through gravel. And so thanks for persevering with us on that as well. That's been that's definitely been a trying situation, but the state has come in and done what they were supposed to do, and so that pavement should be down by the time you're watching this.
Anything else you'd like to add to it?
maybe we have, next session, we'll have another session.
Okay.
If you're still with us, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elwood, the citizens of Elwood. This is very good. I'm glad you guys are doing this. This is my first time on. I think they knew I loved the camera, so they waited.
Won't be your last. Won't be your last. We've got lots of exciting things ahead.
Thank you for watching City Pulse.